Hello, everyone. Welcome to another completely last minute live stream. I just happened to have some free time and I figured, you know what? Might as well talk to you guys. Um, it is nice and chilly where I live, so I get to have a nice blue sweatshirt. And let me check the. Okay, cool. That's pinned. Microphones. Okay, microphones on. I started playing Final Fantasy VII. So for those of you that are watching this later, why, hello there, Redstone. Welcome back. Did you turn into an owl with that hoo-hoo? Not hard to be the first on these live streams. But welcome in. How are you doing? What are some epic happenings? You just missed me saying that I finally started playing Final Fantasy VII because it's rentable on the Switch now, and then shortly after I started playing that, then the demo of Final Fantasy VII Remake Interlude dropped on Switch 2, so I'm kind of juxtaposing between the two. The demo of 7 Remake ends. Well, I better not say it in case that's a spoiler, but it ended about where I expected it to, and now I'm super pumped for the main game. I'm probably going to end up buying it because I'm asking for pretty much nothing but eShop cards this year. So hopefully my family listens, and that'll be one heck of a way to start 2022. You got the new Animal Crossing Switch 2 edition. I'm not terribly excited about it, but at the same time I feel like reviewing it again, see if it holds up, see if it was worthy of game of the year like so many people put it. Almost got exposed? What are you talking about? Don't tell me there's another stupid Redditor slash Instagrammer who's making silly things about me. The last guy that I tried to uh, say, hey, shut that down, didn't listen to me. So hopefully, if someone else is out there, then, oof, if someone else is out there, then hopefully that person will listen to me. Hello there, Matthew. Glad you could make it in. Anything cool happened since we last talked? You missed me earlier. I was saying that I finally started playing Final Fantasy VII, and um, I also finished the demo of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Okay, my thoughts on Final Fantasy VII might be controversial. Admittedly, I haven't beaten the game yet. I haven't even left Midgar, which I heard was like a very small portion of the game. And my thoughts are the pre-rendered backgrounds are the worst thing about it. Like, it is very hard just to figure out how to cross from one end of the room to the other because you got to go on just the right pathway. And then the game is like slow as heck. Thankfully, the Switch version gives you the ability to have things at 3 times speed. And I'm thinking, dude, the original game ran like molasses. It makes Ocarina of Time look fast. And then the graphics obviously haven't aged very well. Some of the cutscenes are good for their time. The music is MIDI as heck. Not a big fan of that. The only thing I like about it so far is the story. I think the story is pretty darn good. Merry Christmas to you too, Berserker. I don't think I've ever seen you around. If I haven't, I apologize. I've been getting quite the influx of new viewers lately. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, did I like the remake? Well, I haven't played all of it. I don't want to spoil how far I got, just in case you guys don't know. But I guess I could say a general statement. I got past the first boss, and I loved it. I thought I thought the remake was spectacular. It was a bit hard, so I had to switch it to easy mode, but once I did that, then the battles were great. It was kind of like playing Hyrule Warriors, but like mixed with turn-based RPG nature, which we'll see how I play with that, but there is an option to have the characters auto battle and you just give out commands, so it's like you're playing the original game. And then this camera shaking's bothering me. I'm just going to put it down. and then just like lean against the couch. Let me get some pillows and I'll be right back. I'm also going to get some water, so I'll be doubly right back. Alrighty. Let's see here. There. I am very nervous about the placement of that water, so let me get a cup holder. I can still talk to you guys. Hopefully you can still hear me. That's the beauty of a headset. All right. So for those of you that don't know, water is my life energy on these live streams. When it runs out, I run out. Because I am not the kind of guy that likes live streaming all the time. It is very much a sporadic, spur of the moment, every now and then type of thing. So do not expect this to be a regular occurrence. All right, let's catch up on chat. Did I? Yes, I saw that. Couple of videos. Oh, very nice. Very nice. What are some of your favorite videos that you've watched so far? Maybe I can make more of them. Why is there not coffee? I didn't drink coffee last time. It was iced tea. Actually, I get sleepier when I drink coffee, so I've given up on it. Whoa, your friend up there? Oh, who's your friend up there? Up where? In this basement? A deer? Is that what you guys are talking about? That thing? That's a deer that my uncle shot. Well, the reason why water is my life energy is because it soothes my throat. So, like if I talk too much without water, my throat is going to be killing me. But anyway, yeah, so I just left off talking about Final Fantasy VII. Before I continue, I want to ask you guys a question. Now that 2025 is wrapping up, I want to hear everyone else's games of the year. It doesn't have to be just one. You can list 5, you can list 10. I guess YouTube has a character count, but if you want to send multiple messages, you can. I already made a video listing my favorite games of the year, so you guys can watch that if you want my answers, but I want to hear you guys. Stole? Yeah, I probably did. What's this about every man should? Drinking only water? I'm the type of person, this might be a controversial opinion among Catholics, but I'm the type of person that believes that the only difference between men and women is biology. Like, I'm pretty sure that, like, anything a man can do on an emotional level, a woman can too. I don't really think there's, like, a job a man should have and a woman shouldn't. I think maybe a woman would be better suited to being a midwife, but I would imagine a man could probably learn. So that's just my opinion. If I'm wrong, feel free to quote some kind of church father doctrine, but that's just my opinion for now. Have I heard of St. John of Damascus? You actually sent me a video just the other day about St. John of Damascus, and I learned quite a lot from that, so thank you for that. Hades 2 and Kirby. Okay, so Hades 2 is the kind of game I can respect, but man, am I not good at it. I gave up on Hades 1 after just 2 runs. Kirby Air Raiders. Oh, I love that game. Love that game. Also, welcome in Coolio DFab. Yet another name I don't recognize. Thanks for joining the stream. Have you been here before? And what are some of your favorite videos? Berserker, Unicorn. Oh, that didn't even come out this year, I don't think. I think that was last year, actually. But still, if you played it this year, I suppose that can count. I'm trying to remember. I think I played the demo of Unicorn Overload or Overlord. I was thoroughly confused by it. So I said, I think I'll just stick to Fire Emblem. Yeah. Oh, the word peak. Oh, man. So, in case you guys couldn't tell, I'm not too caught up on modern slang. Uh, it wasn't until 2023 that I started learning a lot of the lingo that most people use. So, words like based and W and peak, whew, took me a long time to figure out what that meant. Yes! Oh, I love Fire Emblem. My favorite game in the franchise. Ooh, that's a tough one. Depending on my mood, it's either Path of Radiance or Three Houses. I think I might slightly prefer Three Houses just because um, I like the characters a lot better. Like I like how you can hear different things from them every single month, and then you can get to know like their preferences, and they feel more like characters. Whereas in Path of Radiance, don't get me wrong, I love the cast of characters in that game, but usually once they're introduced, then they only stick around for like a chapter or two, and then they just become more units. Whereas in Three Houses, the units have stuff to say pretty much the entire time. Yes, nice to know we got the Three Houses love in there, Berserker. Which run is your favorite? Don't say any spoilers, but just generally say which run is your favorite. It's been a long time since I played Three Houses, but I really like the Black Eagles route. There's a pretty cool twist near the halfway point that I think is one of the strongest emotional highlights of the entire franchise. Love Three Houses. Oh, good. Golden Deer. I only played Golden Deer once. And I remember thinking it was pretty cool. Like, I like Claude. I like Joe Zija. I think he plays the role really nicely. And he played Rafika in Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which is basically just feathery Claude. Mainly only beat Black Eagles. That's a good one to beat, you know? Um, I'm pretty sure that's the popular opinion. That and Golden Deer. Blue Lions, very, very nice. That was the first one I ever did. Maybe I'm stupid, but my reasoning for picking Blue Lions first was that it said that they were focused a lot on like chivalry and manners, except for Felix for some reason. And I also like the color blue. So that was my reason for picking it, because I like being polite as much as possible. Not politically correct, but polite. There's a bit of a difference there. And I think the reason why I didn't pick Black Eagles was because Edelgard was by far the house leader that was featured the most in the marketing. And something told me if she's that important to the game, I think I should probably save her for last, because that probably indicates that her route has some pretty cool stuff. And boy, am I glad that I did, because that felt like a good finale. Technically, I played the ending of Cindered Shadows to the end, and that was a tough one, all right. I have a hard time thinking anime girls are pretty just because like all their eyes are so big, and like I'm all about like appreciating God's design, and when a video game character feels more like a creation than it does God's creation, then I'm going to be annoyed. So that's why like I generally don't have anime crushes or character crushes or anything like that unless they are the spitting image of how God created people. So like I would probably, if I were to have a crush on a video game character, it would probably be from something like, I don't know, Final Fantasy, because at least they have somewhat realistic proportions. Like you could hypothetically see a picture of Aerith from Final Fantasy VII Remake, and you may just be convinced that she's a real girl. Whereas, who's going to look at Edelgard and think that she's a real girl? Like, let's be real. Well, then again, we're in the age where people can have AI girlfriends, so then again, maybe I'm wrong. People are something else in this modern era. Alrighty, so a couple of other things I wanted to tell you guys. So, for Christmas, it looks like we're finally going to be able to celebrate it the day of and with my whole family. So I want to hear what you guys are doing for Christmas. If you keep it, if you don't, then I hope you keep Jesus' birthday some other time of year. I don't think we're doing anything super special, just going to mass, and the mass that I go to is usually has pretty good music, albeit very loud. Saint Sophronius of Jerusalem. I have not heard of that person. If you want to send me something, that'd be great. Or if you want to say it here in chat, that'd be cool too. Okay, I think I finally got comfortable because I'm trying to like position my computer on the footrest, but then like my feet are all like hunched up to my chest. So I'm trying to find a good way to position myself. But I think I finally got it. There we go. Yeah, that does feel quite nice. Another thing that I've been into recently is Sonic Racing Crossworlds. I finally beat the Switch 2 version, and it's basically the same game, just with better performance and better graphics. I have a review of it. Review didn't do too great, but I think that's because I released it too soon. I'm the type of guy that's like too impatient to wait to release my reviews. So I said, yeah, I know I just did 2 uploads back to back. I don't care. I realize most people don't even like my reviews, so I just do them for my own sake. Anyone gonna switch to old iPods era in 2026? I don't know why you put chat with an exclamation mark. I don't think that actually works on my streams. But I've never actually had an iPod. I have an Android phone, and I use it for Nintendo Music and taking pictures, and that's about it. Can't even call anyone with it. I do have a flip phone, but my mom's borrowing it because her phone doesn't work. But all of us siblings have pitched in some money, and we're gonna hopefully get her a phone that's actually gonna be working and is not gonna constantly keep causing problems. Because goodness knows my parents are really behind on technology. Granted, so am I, but they're even worse than me. Like, my mom doesn't even know how to turn on a computer, whereas at least I know that much. But even if I could get an iPod, probably wouldn't. I'm not the type of person that likes listening to music all that much. Sometimes I like listening to the music that I'm going to use in my end of year videos, but that's mainly because I'm trying to anticipate how you guys will feel hearing it. And so trying to see things from a different perspective apart from mine is kind of refreshing. You know, it's nice to have some alternate perspectives in life. I've been told that I'm not often great at listening to other people's points of view, so hopefully someone can recognize that I at least tried. Other recent stuff since last live stream. Good question. December's been a slow month. Like, I released my end of year videos and they seem to be doing pretty good. Progress on the behind the scenes of that video is going ridiculously slow. I think it's just because I'm really picky about my microphone setup, and if I do the slightest mistake with it, I'm like, oh, I hope everyone doesn't hate it. I don't really like using this headset, but I figure I don't really have a choice because I've tried live streaming without it and it didn't work. I tried live streaming with my good microphone and that didn't work either. So better for you guys to hear me, even if it's not the most optimal quality. Am I right? So what are everyone's experiences with 100 Line Last Defense Academy, if you've even heard of that game at all? Because I liked that game. Not enough to make it onto my top 10, but I still really liked it a lot. And if they had cut out a lot of the fluff and if they had put out that update earlier, I think I would have liked it a lot more. As a diehard Fire Emblem fan, of course, I'm a sucker for those turn-based games that are more approachable. I mean, don't get me wrong, 100 Line can be very tough at times, but It's the kind of tough where you mainly feel like it's your own fault if you lose the battles, because the game so clearly spells out its systems. And I also think that the story is, it's pretty up there with the likes of Zero Escape. One of the guys who worked on Zero Escape worked on the story in that game. And I do recommend that if you do play 100 Line, that you guys consult a guide, because I deeply regret stumbling into some of those routes and being like, what the heck am I doing? This is such a waste of time. But I do think it's a shame that. Oh, that reminds me of a conversation I wanted to talk to you guys about. I want to know if anyone here watched the Game Awards. If you did not watch them all the way through, good for you. Because I watched them all the way through because a Twitch streamer that I know was doing a watch party of the Game Awards. And it was pretty terrible, not gonna lie. As a Nintendo fan, the Game Awards is getting more and more insufferable to watch. I don't think I've seen a genuinely mind-blowing reveal at that show since, I think, like when they revealed Sephiroth for Smash Brothers, and that was back in like 2020. So it certainly has been a while since something there has completely wowed me. But I did like the part where Jenny Kidd came on stage and sang Breaking Through Heart of Gold. I thought that was pretty cool. Am I even live? Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. I was worried for a minute there. Watch it with a few of your friends, like you do. So, the Star Wars racing game, I will admit it looked decent, but then it quickly lost my interest once it said it wasn't going to be on Switch 2. There weren't that many Switch 2 announcements to begin with at the Game Awards. I think there were only 2 that I was even remotely interested in. That Pragmata game looks like it could be pretty decent. I just wish they would have shown more of it, but they did say a demo was coming, so I guess that'll be my excuse to try it out. Big Muppet fan? Yes, that was the highlight of my entire show. My dad's here, but he's not in the basement. But, I love being home alone whenever my folks go out. By the way, I paid for that TV. So, when I found out that thing was 4K, I was so happy. I'm pretty sure I said that at the beginning. But I remember when Switch 2 Welcome Tour came out, there was a mini game that required you to have a 4K TV. And mind you, I've had that TV since, I think it was like when the Wii U came out. And once I couldn't get that minigame to work, my brother looked up like the serial number and he said, "Oh, by the way, you do have a 4K TV. You just put in the wrong cable." So once I did put in the right cable, I played the demo and it was terrible. It's literally just the first level of Super Mario Brothers. And it's just like really spread out so that all of the first levels on one screen. Oh, it was terrible. My brother Michael couldn't even see it because even with his glasses on, his vision is pretty bad. And then my sister-in-law, even with her glasses on, could barely see it. So it was not something I can recommend. How much did it cost? Oh, this was a while ago that I bought it. I think it was something like $700 to $800. I had a lot more money back then, so I could afford those kinds of things. Technically, I still probably could. I just like to save up my money for like emergencies and stuff that I really, really like. Like, for example, later in 2026, I plan on going to a water park. I'm not going to tell you which one, but I do plan on going to a water park with a few of my friends. And what else am I doing in 2026? Probably going to go to the lake at some point. I honestly have no clue what's going to happen in 2026. Oh, I'll probably read more of those Harry Potter audiobooks. I know Chamber of Secrets just came out, so My sister and I have been reading those together. We just finished the first book. We both really love it. Bit iffy on Snape's new voice, but I imagine we'll get used to it. We probably just are too used to Alan Rickman and gotta realize, they're trying to go for more age accurate portrayals as opposed to just someone who can copy Alan Rickman verbatim. But, the audiobooks, the full cast audiobooks to be precise, have been glorious, especially with the music. Like, the acting is also really good. It makes the child acting in the Harry Potter movies look like an absolute joke. Like, man, I'm surprised so many people consider the first movie a classic because it is painful to look back on it after I've experienced the audiobooks. Like, the music and the sound effects and the acting is all just on another level from the movie. I think maybe I'm partially biased just because I tend to prefer the books over the movies. In the case of the first two, I think there is a case to be made that the um maybe the first two movies could be better than the first two books, but now that I have those audiobooks, I don't think I'm ever going back. Or at the very least, if I do, it's going to be like if a friend is watching it and I'm just like, well, I got nothing better to do, so might as well rewatch it. But yeah, once the TV show and the rest of the audiobooks come out, I highly doubt I'll ever watch the Harry Potter movies again unless, I don't know, maybe if Deathly Hallows is in the theater. But ugh. I have a very love-hate relationship with the movies, in case you couldn't tell. The books, I personally think the books are pretty much perfect. The first couple of books are really rough as far as, like, you could really tell that it was Rowling's first couple of books, and so she was still getting used to, like, plot coherence. So that was a bit annoying. But oh yeah, I don't blame them, Red. You saw the title of this live stream. I don't pretend to be good, but there are people that have gotten mad at me when I've suggested that I'll just completely abandon live streams. There was one point where I just said, I don't know, guys, if this is good and if people even like it. And so now that's become like a running joke where I just keep saying, like, oh, this is the worst live stream ever, and you guys are going to hate it like heck because, people have Twitch, and Twitch is so much better than live streams. So I just accept that reality. But just you wait. If Time Jester Jevil shows up, he will make sure that this chat does not stay dead, because he always has something to say, even if it's completely off topic. But what was I gonna say? I was talking about Harry Potter TV show. I'm pretty excited. Gotta say, Hogwarts Legacy is what I called the beginning of the Harry Potter Renaissance. Ooh, ever since that came out, it just seems like year after year we get something amazing. Who said my live streams are not good? I don't think anyone outright said that they weren't good. I think it's just that I typically get very low attendance. I think like the most I've ever gotten on a live stream is like 12 people. And it's hard to think that people are entertained enough by me just talking to a camera as opposed to like Twitch streamers where they play a video game. And I know there's a category called just chatting on Twitch. But at the same time, I feel like nowadays YouTube live streaming is becoming more and more of a rarity. Like, a lot of my friends that did YouTube streams are now moving on to Twitch. And the few that do still stream on YouTube typically only have like 1 or 2 viewers that regularly talk. And I think like modern culture has encouraged this behavior called lurking, which I think also like does not help. Which, if you don't know what lurking is, it basically means that you have my live stream open in like one tab and you're doing something else in another. And I admit I'm guilty of doing that sometimes too, but at least in my case, it's when the streamer is playing a game that I might only be marginally interested in. Whereas it's like, you're telling me that me just talking to you guys is background noise? So yeah, I had a long therapy session, and I won't say everything that I said, but most of my session today with my therapist was talking about my thoughts on on the comment section lately, and how, well, you guys saw well, I don't know how many of you saw my last live stream, but I was talking about how frustrated I was that my comment section really doesn't elaborate a whole lot on why they like my stuff. I guess, like, there's a part of me that wants at least a little bit of recognition, maybe not like celebrity worship status, but nice to know, like, oh, hey, you know what? Your videos are so much better than they did when you started out, because those are abysmal. In my opinion, everyone should have therapy. Like, there are so many people in the world that make so many stupid mistakes, and it's probably because they don't have a therapist. And so, even if I'm doing good, I still go to therapy. Even when I'm having the best day of my life, I still go to therapy because I just want to doubly make sure that I'm in as top shape as I should be. So that means I go to the doctor even when I'm in perfect health, go to the dermatologist even when I have perfect skin. It's all about preserving my life as long as possible because I have certain people in my life that have had a really rough life, and I am one of the only people in their lives that they trust. And as long as I can be alive for those people as long as possible, then my life is worth living. Obviously, there's other things I want to live for too, but if I ever think that life is just way too rough, I just think of those specific people in my life and I say, all right, I'm going to go to the gym for their sake. I'm going to eat healthy for their sake. I'm going to go to the doctor for their sake. There's a part of me that kind of wants to die young, but then there's a part of me that doesn't at the same time, because I have 6 miscarried siblings, and there's a part of me that really wants to meet them because I love family reunions. I love family get-togethers, and I really would have loved it if we would have had like 10 kids all around the house. But then again, I realized that people on Earth would be devastated if I were to die young. And so, for their sakes, I push on. Now, I'm not saying I have depression or anything like that, but as a practicing Christian, obviously we know that when you die, when you're in a state of grace, you go to heaven, and there you get to meet God and all your loved ones. And, I've had a few loved ones that have passed away, and I think I've gotten to the acceptance stage, but at the same time, every now and then I miss them, Like, if you've ever had a relative who's died, I'm sure there are days where you're just like, man, I wish I could see you again. But it's nice knowing that there is a way to see people again, as opposed to just the utter hopelessness of thinking that once someone dies, it's farewell. Just that's another thing that makes me comforted about my religion, is just knowing that there's going to be an afterlife and everything's going to work out, but that the afterlife could end up being better if I stick around on the earth long enough. And so, probably by the time this YouTube channel becomes obsolete, it'll either be when YouTube itself goes obsolete, or I am so old that I can barely hold a keyboard. Like, I'm gonna be in it for the long run. You're gonna see my hair full of gray, and I'm gonna be wrinkled and hopefully not hunched over, because I've been doing exercises at the gym to try to straighten up. This posture probably isn't helping, but you can only do so much when you're live streaming. But yeah, I'm overall very, very happy with life. I have not been thrilled with the way my comment section has treated me. almost every other comment is, "Oh, I saw you on a reel on Instagram," even though I told that Instagrammer to take down the reel, because it's like you're promoting an outdated video. Like, give it up, guys. I'm moving on. It's YouTubers. If there's one thing you gotta know about people that upload on a regular basis, it's that YouTubers don't like it when people put too much emphasis on their old stuff. They like to think that they've improved. And I am the type of person that has put in so much work to try to stop being an amateur and try to like make my channel actually worth watching. And it can be frustrating when people get too caught up in the past. But at the same time, I would say that I haven't really gotten too many negative comments recently. So I am grateful that even if I don't get the positive feedback I'm looking for, I'm not getting too much negative feedback. So I'm still going to be the longest running YouTuber. I'm still going to be happy being on this platform. I'm still going to make the kind of videos I like making, even if no one else likes them. Goodness knows there have been some videos that I spent a lot of time on thinking, oh, this is going to be great. And the views are only in the double digits. Gotta love it. You know, it's the usual struggle with being a YouTuber. But at the same time, like I've said over and over and over again, and I'm going to keep saying it until it sinks in, I have met 2 people that knew me from the comments. And those people are some of my best friends. That's how I met Isabel, and she's basically my best friend at this point. Haven't been able to talk in a while because she now has 2 jobs, and things are pretty insane over where she lives, but she started out as just another commenter, and that led to us meeting up in person 3 different times, and we're probably going to do it again sometime in 2026. So here's hoping that it actually works out and that something doesn't happen at the last minute to make it all come crashing down. Maybe that's another reason why chat dies in my stream, is that this isn't like a Discord call where multiple people can talk. Like, only a couple of people at a time can talk on. We're alive? I'm sorry, I'm missing the context there. What was I saying? Yeah, like, I wish that in the future YouTube implements a tool where maybe like the chat can like respond with voices, or maybe like it can be like a Discord call where like anyone who comes on chat can be able to talk. Because I would love it if I'm not the only one talking. Goodness knows I'm hurting my voice as it is. Newer stuff has been great. Oh, good. I appreciate it, Coolio. That honestly, it's probably the best thing I've heard about my channel all year, if I'm being brutally honest. Yeah, it might have been just a rhetorical question. I know lately I've been having short-term memory loss a little bit. And my therapist seems to think that it's part of a certain condition that I have that I won't name. It's not ADHD, I'll tell you that. Lately, I feel like I've been trying to be more easily distracted lately, but I don't think I have it quite to the level of an ADHD person. How do you say that name? Carinu Pinion. That's a very nice name, by the way. Yes, I guess it would be chaos. I didn't even think about that. But welcome in. Glad you're here. What kind of things do you like to do? And have you been here before? I'm sorry, I'm not good at this kind of stuff. But I hope that my channel is a place that you enjoy being. I've been told by a couple of people that they think my voice is really soothing. And I certainly hope that when you guys listen to me doing a review, even if you don't watch all the footage that I very carefully curated, that you can feel like you're sitting next to a fire and drinking hot chocolate. And you can just say, like, man, I had such a rough day, but hearing Paul gush about Path of Radiance just made my day. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that you like my voice. To be honest, I don't actually get too many people making fun of me, so I really appreciate that. I was very fortunate in my childhood that I didn't really experience too much explicit bullying. Thankfully, though, when I was in school, I read a lot of books about um, what to do if people bully you. And so I was that guy that just the people at the park and the people that did explicitly bully me could never get a rise out of me because I just followed all those tricks. Like one of them was if a bully makes fun of you, just keep saying the word so over and over again. Like if someone says like, dude, you have so much acne. So, dude, you're so ugly. So, and then a couple of other times, like I would just like chime in with another insult, even if I didn't know what was being said. Like, I don't want to say verbatim what happened because it's a bit of an inappropriate story, but one person was like making fun of something on my body. And I said, like, well, your brain doesn't look very good either. And again, I censored that a bit, but the person didn't know how to respond after that. There are a couple of times I just walked away when people were bullying me, and thankfully, no one ever tried to like chase me too much. But most of the bullying that I've encountered has been more subtle. Like I would find out maybe like decades later, and that would be how I found out. But I've had a very fortunate life, you know, never broken a bone, never had surgery. Um, the most time I ever spent in a hospital was 6 hours, which you might think is a long time, but by hospital standards, that's like basically nothing. Um, I've had a good family. Not perfect. Every family has their squabbles, but pretty good. Um, I've been very blessed that yeah, I just have had a very good life, and I'm hoping that I can share my optimism with people. I just got to figure out a way to do it. One thing that I've tried to do is I've tried to make best memories lists where every single year since 2011, I would write out a list of the best things that happened to me in the year. And you know, it all started out on Facebook, and then Facebook got rid of notes. So then I switched it over to YouTube. So technically, I've only been doing it on YouTube since 2021. But if you read my description, my latest Best Memories video, it'll say, welcome to my 15th annual Best Memories of the Year list. Because I'm the type of guy that I like to endure. I like to be the type of person that preserves personal traditions. Not a huge fan of societal traditions, but I do really like saying like, oh, I have kept up this particular behavior for 15 years and not going anywhere anytime soon. Like I literally get a dopamine rush from consistency. And I think my friends have been soothed by my consistency, and I think it's helped them be more punctual too. Speaking of my friends, I have like the best friends in the world. Like I wish I could introduce you guys to all of my friends. And oh, oh, someone just messaged me. Let me see if that's anything I should be aware of. Okay, cool. All right, we're good. We're good. What was I saying? Yeah, I have some really good friends. And you know, sometimes they show up in this chat, but like I wish that I could just get a whole bunch of them all together in my chat all at once. And I could like just list off a whole bunch of great things my friends have done. And if you're thinking, but Paul, I want to be your friend too, like that can totally happen. Like I said, met two of my best friends from the comment section. So yeah, it can totally happen. Last stream, I had someone ask to email me and we had a voice chat and I think it went pretty good. So I'm thankful that YouTube can be a good community. I'm the type of person that I'm much more of a cooperation over isolation type of person. Like, don't get me wrong, my ideal day is one where I could just sit in my room all day, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to do that every single day. I think it's good that people have people in their lives. And if you don't have a good support circle, go get one, because I personally think that's the biggest reason for a lot of problems in life. Like, I think most of like the bullies in the world are just people that are lonely and don't have someone to keep them grounded. Oh, I hang out with my friends all the time. Maybe not like every single day. Like, I think that'd be a bit much, but usually I average about like 3 hangouts a month. For most of my friends, I try to talk to them once a month. I have one friend who wants to talk to me every 3 months because she's got a busy life. A few friends, they might get married and then they'll be like, well, I gotta adjust to like being a wife, being a husband, being a mom, all that stuff. But, we'll still hang out every now and then. And usually, like, my friends have been so good that marriage typically doesn't really affect our friendship all that much. Like, I know a girl that I knew more years than I care to admit. And after she got married, I kid you not, the only thing that's changed about her is that now she's married. Like, her personality is still exactly the same. She still treats me exactly the same. And again, if you guys want me to stop being cryptic, go watch my best memories video. She's in it. And I have a whole section talking about her. Call it shameless self-promotion, but I personally think, like, if you're on a live stream, you should be able to promote yourself, because why would people bother watching you if they're not going to watch the rest of your stuff? At least that's what I think. Maybe I'll have a few one-offs here, and that's cool. I know that I'm one of the most cringiest people in existence. My very first video was me singing about wanting a hug. So goodness knows that this channel was founded on cringe. You don't have an issue with what? I think I lost the plot again. Sorry guys, I talk too much sometimes. But one thing that I really appreciate about my friends lately is that they don't say that. And sometimes I'll ask. I'll say, "Hey, am I talking too much?" And they'll say, "Oh no, we are very interested in what you have to say." Oh, with the self-promotion. Very nice. Yes, I appreciate that so much. A lot of my friends have actually gone out of their way to tell me, "Paul, we do not want you to ask us how we're doing, because we are so interested in what is going on in your life that we want you to tell us all about your latest happenings and all your latest video games. And if we want to talk about ourselves, we'll interject somehow." And, I try to be balanced where I ask a lot of people what their good news is, but sometimes people just don't have anything. And then usually I have to do a little bit of nudging. Like, you're telling me that over this past Thanksgiving, not a single good thing happened to you. You didn't have a good meal. You didn't have a good walk. The sun wasn't nice. And they're like, well, now that you mention it, I guess my day was pretty good. So I'm the type of person that I try to help everyone else be just as optimistic as me. Not just because you're an optimist doesn't mean you don't have bad days. I'm approaching 10 years of being free from depression as of this March. But, whew, when I was in depression, I certainly wasn't that optimistic. I told the nurses that there was a conference I wanted to chaperone, and if that conference failed, then I would end my life. And the conference didn't. It was a smashing success. And I have depression of what? Just clinical depression. Like, how do you describe clinical depression? Just this general apathy towards life. Like, what's the point of anything? No one cares about me. I'm just this worthless idiot that has made too many mistakes. Who would ever want to hang out with me? Like, that kind of negative talk. Some people have had it way worse than me, but I think mine was just, I think it was bad timing, honestly. I probably had it before then and I just didn't get it diagnosed. But once I started realizing, oh, heck yeah, I'm in deep depression, was after one of the mission trips I went on. And it was just pretty much everything about that mission trip was a disaster. But one thing I will say that I liked about that mission trip was um, there was a girl I met that is just a few years younger than me. And she was like one of the few things that I would look forward to every single morning because she'd always be so energetic and so hyper. And I would like use her energy to get out of my funk and be like, oh, you know what? Maybe this camp actually isn't half bad. And whenever she would complain about things, I would be happy about it because I'd be like, oh, I'm not the only one who's miserable here. It's nice that someone can like be with me during my pain. And we have since like gotten to the point of being such good friends that we hang out pretty relatively often, and we've gone to a water park together, which again, there's a video of that if you guys want to see it. And I told one of my friends that sometimes you can have a terrible experience, but you could still change someone's life in the process. And that's why I've been trying to get into the mindset of never consider any point of your life a waste of time, because you never know if someone could be really impacted by something that you said. You might not even know what you did. I'll give you an example. So, I am an assistant catechist to 4th and 5th graders, and they generally don't express a whole lot about what they're thinking. Like, after I finish giving a lesson, they don't typically say like, oh wow, thanks Paul, you gave us such a great lesson. Like, sure, there's this one girl in my class with this really piercing stare, like it feels like she's listening to every single word I'm saying, but like I don't typically hear her saying like, good job Paul, you taught me a lot. And so this past Sunday I had, I believe it was 4 kids in my class that gave me a whole bunch of Christmas presents, and I know they're 4th and 5th graders, so probably a lot of it was from their parents, but at least 2 of them actually hand wrote Christmas cards. One of them even like drew an ornament on the front of it, and she said, thank you for being our Sunday school assistant teacher ever, which I think was her way of saying thank you for being our favorite Sunday school teacher ever, which I was like, I was your favorite? Oh, wow. Didn't expect that. And then she said, I love hearing stories of when you were younger, which I was like, I never would have guessed that that's how she felt about me, because maybe I'm just bad at reading facial expressions, but I wouldn't have thought that that's what was going through her head when I was telling my stories. I was thinking that she was thinking, oh, it's just another Sunday school class. Let's get it over with. But apparently she liked it enough to handwrite a card. And so I thought to myself after I got that card, maybe other people in my life are just shy, which, you know, most of the people in my life are pretty shy. Like, I don't have a whole lot of extroverted friends in my life, which, to be fair, you can be shy and extroverted. But in general, most of my friends are either introverts or like they're quiet extroverts. Like I don't really have a whole lot of talkative people that I hang around with. And I think maybe like because I'm around so many introverts, like maybe I want people to be more expressive and just like say what's on their mind. And because like introverts, you usually have to like give them a while to like be able to say it fully. Maybe that's why I like in-depth stuff. The best moment with friends watching the sun. Well, sadly, I don't drink beer, but that does bring up an interesting question: is what is my favorite moment with friends? Actually, I want to hear that from the rest of you guys as well. Um, what is the best moment you guys have ever had with your friends? And just to make it even more interesting, don't make it a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It has to be a platonic friend because I mean, don't get me wrong, dating is cool, marriage is cool, but people just don't talk about their friendships as much. And I want to know what has been your favorite moment with someone that you like, but not in a romantic way. You just like them in a friendship way. My favorite moment with my friends. Probably the moment Isabel said, I trust you. I think that might have been the best. Or like some of the moments where I went to go meet her and we just had a nice talk. And I was able to tell her what was going on with my situation that I haven't been able to tell anyone else. And that was nice. For me, it's usually the little moments that'll add up. Cycling with them on Sundays. Cycling, I used to like cycling, but then I got injured on a bicycle a long time ago and haven't touched one since. Driving go-karts, very nice. Oh, very, very nice. Karin you? I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. If you could do a pronunciation guide, that'd be great, because I want to make sure I'm saying it exactly right. I've been on go-karts before. Not very often, but the few times I have were pretty fun. It was always at the carnival, though. So, going back to what I said earlier, because I don't think I finished my sentence. I guess, like, because most of my friends are introverts, I need to realize that people might not always want to say what's on their mind right then and there, or maybe they feel too shy to express it verbally. And so I have this personal theory, and I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but I personally think that when we get to heaven, just all of that shyness and all of that reservation is just going to be completely gone. And then, like, all the people whose lives I've changed will just say it. Still learning. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. To be honest, Redstone, I probably would not have guessed that you weren't a native English speaker. Like, whatever you're using is doing pretty good. And let me know if I'm saying things wrong. English is really okay. I technically know 3 languages. I know English, Pig Latin, and Ubby Dubby. So unfortunately, I don't really know how to dumb down my English, and I figure if I start speaking in Pig Latin or Ubby Dubby, you guys won't understand me. You'll understand me even less. So I'm sorry if my English bothers you. Took you a while to learn how to drive them? Yeah, yeah, I remember that. If you're talking about the ones at the carnival, yeah, that absolutely happened. My favorite carnival ride would be the alien ride where you're inside a saucer and you just like lean against the wall and the centrifugal force like keeps you on the wall like mother tongue? Do you mean like native language? If you mean native language, it's English. Um I can speak a little bit of Latin, but not fluently. Oh, someone else messaged me. Let me double check that. Ooh. Another friend said she won't be able to make it. Oh well. She said thanks for the invite. But yes, Native English, Pig Latin, and Ubby Dubby are secondary. And I can speak fluently in both of them, but most people don't know what I'm saying when I do that, so I end up just forgetting it. English is also your second language. I didn't even know Polish people. I didn't know there was like a Polish language. That's nice. Okay. Hey, you know what? That sentence structure was actually pretty darn good. I'm usually the grammar Nazi, so the fact that you're using pretty good punctuation, that's fascinating. I believe my Polish ancestry is pretty darn low. I went most of my life thinking I was 0% Polish, but I'm pretty sure it's something like 5%. But it's so low that I've sometimes been lovingly teased that I just don't get Polish customs. Like, I didn't even know what a punchki was until like maybe 10 years ago, which sounds like a long time ago, but apparently, like, native Polish people knew that very early on, and I didn't. What do I do for a job? I am an assistant catechist for 4th and 5th graders. Japanese and Duolingo. Okay. If my friend was here, she'd be able to teach you some Japanese, but unfortunately, she's out shopping right now. But if she ever comes back to the stream, I will ask her if she can share some of her knowledge about Japanese culture. Well, maybe, because I don't think she likes drawing attention to herself. Yeah, I'd have to think about that. But I do know who I can go to if I'm ever like playing a game and I'm just like, what the heck is wrong with this translation? She'll be like, oh yeah, here's how it was supposed to be in Japanese. Noise twin? I'm guessing that's supposed to mean nice twin. I'm sorry, I think Duolingo failed on that one. You might have to type that in again. Huh? Yeah, I guess that is true that there's quite a lot of Japanese only video games, but from what I can tell, most of them don't seem like my thing. Like, sure, there's a few Fire Emblem games that are Japanese only, but they don't seem particularly appealing because they came out on retro systems. And generally speaking, anything that came before the Nintendo 64, I try to avoid because I've just noticed that there's not really any good NES or Super NES games that control well. I don't know how to explain it. There's just something about that control pad that is just so off. Like, A Link to the Past is an absolute nightmare trying to play it on the Super Nintendo, and so I've never beaten it as a result. The year is coming to a close. What's my game of the year? Watch my video. There's some self-promotion for you. Go watch the video if you want to know the exact name of it. It's called My Most Epic, or I think it's the Top 10 Most Epic Switch and Switch 2 Games of 2025 featuring Isabel. So if you want to go and watch that one, there you go. Not only will it give you my game of the year, but it'll give you my top 10 games of the year. Also, welcome in Hind Quartato. Hope I pronounced that right. Hope you're doing well. I am probably going to wrap up soon because my life energy is almost done, but glad you could at least hear me say that. Both, Car and you. There's something about the control pad that feels so unresponsive, and then like even when I play like modern emulations like Nintendo Classics, the characters just don't move the way that I want them to. Like Link, he can only move in like 8 directions in A Link to the Past, which is very jarring because, you know, I love A Link Between Worlds. That game has 360-degree movement. And oof, A Link to the Past, just like the collision detection is rough, and there's a lot of things about that game that haven't aged well. I think like the farthest I ever got was maybe past like the first dungeon, and then I gave up. So I don't think I'll ever replay it. Well, maybe you were just used to it. But I did not grow up with A Link to the Past. My first Zelda game, Technically, it was Oracle of Seasons, but I didn't get very far. The first Zelda game I ever beat was Ocarina of Time. And I think that became like the gold standard for Zelda games for a while. Now that gold standard is Tears of the Kingdom. Just finished studying. Happy you got to see the stream. Very nice. Salo di Tarso. Unfortunately, I'm going to be wrapping up. But, oh, tomorrow's your last day of school. Very nice. Hopefully you can come to the rest of these. If you can't come to these for a while, I hope you'll check out my end of year videos, my best Switch and Switch 2 games of the year, and my best memories of the year. I literally spent an entire year working on those videos. So I would love it if you guys gave me feedback, but do try to be gentle with it. When you work on something for that long and like the slightest thing goes wrong, you're hypersensitive about it. So hopefully, if you guys have something that you really hate about those videos, maybe keep it to yourself. Okay, yeah, good night. Thanks for dropping by, Redstone. Alright, guys, I think I'm going to call it here. But before I go, I just want to, oh, thank you very much, Heinkortor. However you pronounce your name, I'm sorry. But before I go, I just want to ask, does anyone have any questions about my channel? And do you have any highlights of your day that you want to talk about? I want to make sure that even the people that got here late can have at least something that they can say and get out. So I'll give you a couple of seconds and then we'll call it. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, I do read every single comment that you guys write. I may not read them word for word, but I do read them in my head. So do not ever think I'm ignoring you. Do I still think Sonic games have bad storylines? Depends on the Sonic game, because I think Shadow Generations was pretty good. Another partner? Well, I don't have a partner. But I will try to get my friends to come along. But no, I haven't had a girlfriend in probably almost 10 years. So I think I'm probably gonna just be that guy that's just super dedicated to his friends and call it a day. Yeah, Shadow Generations, I will admit, part of it was a bit confusing because I haven't played too many 3D Sonics, but it did a decent job of like recapping the events of Shadow's games. And, you know, I liked the scenes between Shadow and Maria. I thought those were really nice. Like I said, I haven't played too many Sonic games that do have storylines, but I would say that Shadow Generations was a good one. I don't think any others are honestly that good. Of the ones I've played. I've heard Sonic 06's was pretty good, but I haven't played it. Yeah, you should. Because that's one of the best parts of Shadow Generations, is like, it's such a short campaign, but like every cutscene is so masterful. Alright, guys, I think I'm going to call it here. Thanks a bunch, everyone who showed up. Let me see if I can thank every single person by name. Thank you, Karen Upinion, Redstone Tech 01, Hein Quartato, Salo de Tarso 48. I know Matthew Rakowski was in here earlier. Coolio, where's Coolio DeFab? Okay, that's another person I'd like to thank. Bearzerker 33. Hope I didn't scare that person away. All right, there we go. We're good. All right, sounds good. Sorry, Karen. whatever your name is. Thank you so much for stopping by. You all have yourselves a wonderful day. And until the next time, remember to keep the faith, stay epic, God bless, and go watch my end of year videos. I worked on them for an entire year, and I hope you guys really like them. Bye.